Do you know how old how old is that rock, do you think? Or the rock behind you? That must be forever.
Forever.
And maybe a few years more.
But people have been coming here for
Yeah.
years. We were just
Now-
telling Ezra I used to come in down that way when it wasn't overgrown.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Now, I should say, I only met you now, and the beautiful Willie Doyle just mentioned the fact that you've had a pretty incredible 8 weeks leading up to, we'll say, a reunion.
Yeah.
When did you get back with Ezra? Now, is this
A week, isn't it?
beautiful?
A
Was
little
it?
over a week.
Ah,
We
so
got him back.
you're out in Tala. You're
Yeah.
part of the COVID. I don't know what sort of title you had out there. What?
Well, I'm a
your work?
nurse and
Right.
I work in a team in a surgical intensive care unit.
Right.
So we would normally be quite a small but specialised unit, and we became a COVID unit.
Okay. And
Tripled our population, so we had 9 patients, so the capacity for 9 patients, and so we were just part of a huge strategy to cope with it.
And how is that psychologically? Because as much as you're doing all the things that you know you should do and you're helping people as much as you can, this is unprecedented. I'm sure from that point of view, it's I don't know whether it gets hard to sleep or whether it's you just get used to it because you're doing.
Butterfly!
Holy moly, there's another butterfly. Beautiful.
I think I was going through what everybody else in the world was going through at the same
Right.
time, but
Guess what? The colour, and now this was the... Oh, there's a butterfly!
go on. Do you
Holy
want to go down to
moly,
it?
there's lots of
Oh,
butterflies
look
up
at
here.
there's another one!
They love it up here. I think this
I'm
is one of their
hoping-
favourite places.
Can you edit this?
Ah, it's good. It's all good. It's all part of nature.
What? I think them two are white.
They saw
They're
that one was
white
white.
ones, yeah.
There it is, still there.
They're
Beautiful.
white.
But yeah, you're getting used to it, I guess, in a way that everybody is. But it's still
There
gotta
was a
be-
risk, and
yeah.
the risk was scary. So we're risking changing standards, guidelines, making up new guidelines and new practices and processes that just taking the lead on some of those, and other of my colleagues taking the lead on those. It was really scary because you're going out on a limb. You haven't got the comfort of somebody else having
Can we
read
go home
Right.
read up on this.
Well, they're on charted
decided
waters.
on-
Yeah.
really
yeah.
scary.
home, yeah, it's too
Oh, we'll be going
hot.
now home in a second. We're just going to do this tiny little interview and then we'll be...
Too hot.
Because, you know, Ezra, this interview is really about you as much as about your mum
He's gonna-
giving
we're
up
gonna tell
8
him what it
weeks
was like for us to be together
work.
again.
It's great that she came back to her favourite person in the entire world so she could hang out with you again up here on the rock and do loads of cool things with you. So that decision, though, to sort of say, okay, I'm going to actually stay here, I mean, was that a big jump? Was it just happened to you without realising?
That was wow. This is like the biggest battle we'll ever be called to, and we just did it.
Right.
It was just, of course we'll do it. There's no question. It's just as the weeks went on and on and on, and
Right.
you became more fatigued by that. But it was amazing. It was something really amazing to start off with.
Well, I suppose that inevitable thing now. I know
Mum,
that
I would say the dog. Guess what? Mum,
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah.
the dogs are even hotter than us because they have fur and they're in the sun.
yeah, well, we give them
Do
some
you
water
want to
now
put
when
some-
we
do
get
you
back.
want to
They have
put
lots
some
of
onto a lead
water.
and take them into the shade under the tree.
All right, it might be good for them to be in the shade because they wouldn't get too much sun on them. Then
Me
They'll be-
too.
They'll breathe better.
too.
Oh, you can
Go
hang
over
in the
there,
shade
and
too.
don't go far though. I need to be able to.
And look
know
out for the
that you're
butterflies now.
still
If you see
close
any more
by.
now, let us know.
Someone might
There's
have a
lots of cool
question for you.
butterflies. Now I'm thinking too that there is. I know the lady who started the clap for carers in England has said next Thursday will be the last one. She feels that it's done its course and that there is obviously that sense of this has gone on. For weeks upon weeks upon weeks, and
There
people
is.
are going to generally feel that fatigue, which also extends to those who just are hanging out waiting. So
Yeah.
you will get this.
Everybody's fed up.
Yeah, which is a dangerous
maintaining
time.
their role in it, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's a dangerous time because if you're going to sort of just give up before sunrise,
Yeah,
you just don't
that's the
know if
fear.
you're going to end up causing a lot more damage than you could have possibly dreamed of.
The fear is a second wave.
Yeah.
And we're always on guard. That's the whole thing. We're
Right.
still fatigued by the stress because the stress is ongoing. We're still on guard, ready
Right.
for a second wave, which is if we don't get it right, that's what we're going to deal
I'm
with.
guessing it was hard to live without that laughter for a few.
Stop it.
Were you?
Physical. I'm quite tough, so
Right.
I thought you'll do this. This is fine. But week 5 and 6, I physically could. I didn't sleep. I just wanted to be with him again, and.
You left him some food and water, right? While
Oh
you
no,
were
he
gone.
was with my sister. He was
I met
absolutely
Claire, your sister Claire
yeah,
was looking
he was
after him. Yeah.
brilliant. She's
Yeah.
amazing, and he was really happy. But then after a few weeks, he started to
Yeah.
question his little world and why isn't she coming back?
Yeah, because
So-
it's a long drive we're on and it's night time and it feels
I think-
endless and
Yeah.
yet at the same time we know the evidence is there that we're doing the right thing and that it's going to get better because of what we're doing. Holy moly, what's up now? Oh,
Now we
he's
have to slip out of our lead thing now.
She's very good
Houdini.
at that.
He's that's a
She's
smart dog.
She's a sneaky tricker, isn't she?
So
Can you get this back on?
we'll
it
do
up
it
to me.
now. Yeah, we'll come down to you and we'll put it back on and you'll be fine. So we should wrap up, I guess, because we
Yeah.
don't want to keep Ezra waiting too long. So the 8 weeks, then, when it came to the end of it, I don't know whether you felt a different person, whether you felt, that this is a once in a lifetime, or
I maintained our bond, and once I felt like our bond was being strained, that's when I started to freak out, and I started making plans to go and get him, and I just came and got him.
Right.
Once I thought it's going to damage us.
right.
But
right.
and I would say there's a lot of families out there with people in all sorts of jobs that are separating themselves. That's
and they've
really
just got
hard.
to the point now where they, the strain is starting to just pull a little bit too much. Where
Yeah. And we
divided
just
by
have
whatever
to-
geography or other conditions that you're not
Yeah.
with the family or.
Yeah, there's a million reasons at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just enough.
I suppose the one thing that we have to say is that as tough as it is, and it isn't something to be taken lightly that people are separated or people are living a certain kind of life that isn't entirely
No,
healthy
I
for
don't
them.
think people are aware of how many people are in those hospitals who haven't seen their kids, or who've
Yeah.
got limits to their relationship with their kids because of the exposures they're putting themselves into.
Right.
There's still a COVID unit in Tala. There's still a number of patients in that unit, and there's still 24-hour care. So there's nurses and doctors exposing themselves.
Right.
I know a doctor in the hospital who hasn't been near his pregnant wife still. Now
Wow.
I've got him back a week. He still hasn't seen her from the very start.
Wow.
So, and that's because of the risk.
Right. I think Ezra's got the best day ever.
He has.
Holy moly, you got a cool stick.
No, that is not the stick.
Oh, that's a
He
different
threw the
stick,
stick
is it?
up in the tree the other day.
Ah, I think the
couldn't
tree just
find
gave you a
it.
different stick as a gift.
No, it is it. It's definitely it.
So
It
we
had
should
this hook on it.
we should wrap up by just sort of saying that basically people got just got to realise that we're almost there in many ways. We'll never know for sure, but we'll
No.
definitely be doing the right thing and just to hold on that this
Yeah.
is probably
We
the
can
most
only
crucial
do
time.
the people who are taking the risk making the decisions. We can only follow what their decisions are. That's all we can do. I will, but get the lead for me. Where did you push it, sweetie?
Oh, it's just there on the grass. But I would hope, I would be optimistic. I would hope you're feeling generally optimistic that we have
yeah.
been very good at
We've been
maintaining.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. My only fear is that how do we get out of it without a vaccine?
Yes. Well, fingers
Or have
crossed.
we been exposed enough that we can get out of it
Here's
now?
hoping we're looking back at this interview in months' time or a year's time and realise, thank God,
Yeah.
this happened.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
so far so good.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Ezra, for allowing us to do this little interview. And you're amazing. You found butterflies, you found a stick, and you were able to help the dogs. Incredible stuff. Well done, Ezra.
Thanks, Paul.